everybody. Welcome to the world's greatest Bronze Age comic book podcast, Flea Market Fantasy. I'm your co-host, Mike Allen. As always, I'm joined by
Michael Dell of the LCS Hockey Radio Show.
That's right. And this week we have returning again for the sixth time, none other than Cousin Brandon.
6 times?
Yeah, that seems pretty high.
It actually seems low. It feels like you've been here more, but I think it's just because, you know, you have such a presence when you're here.
I think every time we go through this and we're like, no, it couldn't be, that can't be right. But yeah, I guess maybe it is. I don't know. I drink.
So anyway, you know, in the past I've had you on as a guest and I've picked for you, but this time I allowed you to pick. Yeah, so of course you picked a comic that I would have reviewed on my Here Comes the Spider cast, but that's fine. Why don't you tell everybody what we're doing, Cousin Brandon?
Well, I'll tell you what we're doing. I wish we weren't. I keep fucking up. I like. Here's the thing. It's like I'm somebody who, as a child, loved comic books, and then apparently I have a terrible memory of the comic books I loved because I keep picking just awful things. Now, I will be fair. This time, I did pick something that I was like, "This is going to be brutal." I just knew it was.
I enjoyed this.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we'll save our comments for later, but
I picked Marvel. I don't know the number, but I picked a Marvel team up with Spider-Man and the SNL Not-Ready-For-Primetime Players.
Yes. The cast of Saturday Night Live, yes.
It's Marvel Team Up issue 74 from 1978.
Right.
Oof. I blew it.
We should say, yes, this is the season 2 cast of Saturday Night Live. Including, well, we'll get to it in a minute, but this is not, so this is, the key thing for me is this is after Chevy Chase left, and he was my favorite, but you got Bill Murray replacing him, and then the rest of the regulars. And
wait a minute. Huh? Michael, you just said Chevy Chase is your favorite.
Not even close. He's
Chevy
so far.
Chase was great. I'm with you.
Yeah, he was great, but the guy who replaced him was better.
Well,
Bill Murray is a genius, but I prefer Chevy Chase. Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, I just want to say it is confusing because to modern, you know, listeners, viewers, readers, we just know them as Saturday Night Live. But back then, I believe there was a weird thing about the copyright where the official name of the show was Saturday Night.
Yeah.
And so the cast, they call them the Not-Ready-For-Primetime-Players. I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure why they put that as the title of this, right? Like, they could have just put Spider-Man and the cast of Saturday Night, but who knows? I don't know.
That was their gimmick. Yeah. That's what they were marketing.
Yeah, but when did they change it to Saturday Night Live? Because I thought that too. It was always a weird thing to be like, it's Saturday night. And you're
I think the reason was, I believe, if memory serves, there was another show literally called Saturday Night Live.
I think that's why.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It was on another network. What was it there? It wasn't necessarily a sketch show. It was something else.
Oh. Maybe I'm going to have to look that up.
While we're talking here, I mean, Mike Dell, I'm sure that in your research you would have came across it, right?
No, I didn't do any research on Saturday Night Live. But I mean, just from my memory, I think that's what it was.
Well, here, lazy bullshit.
Well, here, I'll tell you right now. It's because from 65 to 75, NBC ran the best of Carson of The Tonight Show. And it was called the Saturday, Sunday Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. And that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No, that has absolutely.
They both would have been NBC.
But Mike L seemed so confident when he started out.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We'll clean this up in post.
Oh, really? This is why. Wait. This is why. It's because there was another show called Saturday Night Live with Howard Cosell.
Howard Cosell.
That's
so that's a sports show.
Well, it wasn't a sports show. It was like a variety show, I think, that he hosted.
Is that right?
I think so.
Howard Cosell was hosting a variety show?
I think, if I'm remembering properly, yeah. It's not like I watched it or anything, but yeah, so Saturday Night Live, they're on this Marvel team up, though. Hey, this started in 1972, and it ran to 1985. Ran for 150 issues. Mike L., I'm sure you're very familiar with Marvel Team Up.
I've read at least issues 95 to 150 plus many others.
Because Spider-Man appeared in 140 of them.
Right.
And he would always team up with some random hero. The other main stars were Human Torch appeared in 6, the Hulk 3, and Aunt May in 1 issue.
Oh no!
That's right.
Team up?
Yeah, would you like to explain that one to him there, Michael?
Yeah, it was Assistant Editors Month, and so it was kind of fun because the joke was that all the editors were away at the San Diego Comic-Con, and so the assistant editors took over, and all the writers went crazy and did all these funny things. Like I remember. Oh, I can't even remember some. Some of them were funny, some of them were not. But
well, Michael, I think one of them was the Avengers going to see David Letterman, right? Was that
yes, that's right. So there you go, things like that. And so the Marvel team up one was Galactus gets a new herald, and it's Aunt May. But I think the whole plot was that it was something about Twinkies, right, or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, she teamed up with Franklin Richards.
Right.
Okay.
But then at the end of the issue, you find it was all a dream or something. I can't remember.
I thought you were going to say they had to team up to get her a new colostomy bag.
No. But anyway, so this Marvel team up, it ran for 150 issues, and then when it ended, Michael, what replaced it?
Web of Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? So you're saying, because I collected Web and Marvel team up, so you're saying that was a deliberate transition?
Yes. Yeah,
what?
like basically.
You're blowing my mind. What are you talking about?
The enthusiasm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, basically, I guess the sales team was like, the sales kind of go up and down depending on who Spider-Man's teaming up with. So why don't we just make a solo book that's just Spider-Man? I think that's what it was.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. We learn something new every time.
Well, and Web of Spider-Man, like, I don't know if we've talked about this. Web of Spider-Man, I never thought was, like, great, but I still loved it because it was a Spider-Man comic. I'm like,
right.
Okay.
I agree. That's also why, here's another nerd fact, is the last few issues of Team Up were written and drawn by Louise Simonson and Greg LaRocque, and those are the same writer-artists that started Web.
Oh.
And then they were immediately fired because they're terrible. No offense, I love them both, but those were not good issues. Yeah.
Also,
So
Marvel Team Up is somewhat famous for Chris Claremont's the writer of this issue we're doing here today, and he had a run on there. And during his run on Marvel Team Up, he worked with John Byrne, and it was the first time that John Byrne ever drew the X-Men. Was in Marvel Team Up.
Yes, correct.
Interesting little note. But yeah, Chris Claremont is the writer for this. He wrote like 29 issues of Marvel Team Up between issues 57 and 100, plus 2 annuals, and that's from 1976 to 1980. Brandon, you're very familiar with Chris Claremont, right?
I do know the name, and I'm like sitting here.
He wrote X-Men for 17 years.
Yeah, I was like, I know the name, right?
I know you love the X-Men, yet you can't place the name Chris Claremont?
Again, I drink.
All right. The artist here is a fellow named Bob Hall, and he was the editor, actually. Jim Shooter made him an editor for like a 6-month run here. And because he was the editor, he said, hey, I'm going to just assign myself to draw this book. And because he was hoping to meet some of the Saturday Night Live people, hang out with some celebrities and whatnot. And
wow.
He said that didn't really happen. And they went to go watch a rehearsal, and they met Lorne Michaels, and then he got to shake Lorne Michaels' hand, and he like sketched the studio and stuff. But then that was it. And then after the book came out, they went to the premiere of Animal House, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And like, I think Jim Shooter, him, and a couple other people from Marvel. And he got to actually meet John Belushi, and he presented him with a copy of the cover of this issue. And Belushi and him and some other people, they just sat around, passed around a joint, and had a good time.
So let me just say, number one, well, not number one. I thought some of the art in this comic was fucking shit.
Well, here's the I think some of it's not bad. But here's the problem that Bob Hall said, that back in the day, they didn't have the internet, and he really wasn't even a fan of Saturday Night Live. So all he had to go off was some old headshots of the cast members that NBC gave them. And
oh my God! Please, did you look at Garret Morris? What was that? What was that?
Jane Curtin doesn't look anything like
that. Oh my!
No.
God, it was unbelievable. Bill Murray doesn't look at nothing. I'm like, what is this? The only person that looked remotely close was maybe Aykroyd.
Yes,
and
Aykroyd.
Right.
and
For like
maybe
one shot.
Laraine Newman.
Yes,
maybe Laraine Newman
and Aykroyd were the two that looked like.
Yeah,
but
I was
everyone
like,
else.
otherwise I'm like, what is this? You're like, just they're not ready for prime time. Just throw anybody, put them in there, be like, yep, whatever. It was such shit. Oh.
Yeah. So he said, yeah, I probably didn't do a good job with it, but, what can you do?
You know what? Confirmed. He did not.
You might also know Bob Hall. By the way, he was born in Lincoln, Nebraska, I think, in 1944. He also drew issue 126 of Marvel Team Up. Those are the only two issues he drew of the series. But he's also famous for drawing the 4-issue West Coast Avengers miniseries. He did the first 5 issues of Squadron Supreme and issue 8, I believe. And then he went with Jim Shooter and worked with him over at Valiant, and he wrote and drew Shadow Man at Valiant.
That's right. And if you're interested in finding out more, just Google Comic Book Syndicate Bob Hall, because we met him in Detroit and interviewed him. Yeah.
Cool.
I guess
Nice
he's big
guy.
into like the theater and stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right.
And
Was he a cool guy?
Very nice. Yeah.
When he was working on this here issue and back in 1978, he also had an off-Broadway play going on, The Passion of Dracula.
Holy shit!
So he said that's what he was mostly interested in at the time. So he really didn't, do a lot of research on what the Saturday Night Live guys look like. And also, we'll get to it when we go through the book. But there's a reference to the Muppets in here as well.
Yeah. Yes.
He had no idea what that meant, like what the Muppets were or what.
What?
Wow.
What an asshole. What's this guy's name? Bob Hall?
Bob Hall.
H-U-H-A-U-L?
H-A-L-L.
Like run down the hallway. Bob Hall.
All right. I'm not pleased.
All right. So I guess that's all the background we have for this book. All right, let's look at the cover here, Michael.
Yeah. So I gotta say, we were talking about before the show started. We were talking about meeting women that you really click with, that can crack wise. These Saturday Night Live girls are so attractive because they're so funny. I think all of them are cute in their own way.
Wow, that's a bold statement, Mike.
The more I look at Lorraine,
I'm with Del.
I like her anyway.
Yeah.
And Gilda Radner, come on, everyone's got a soft spot for Gilda Radner. Come on.
Nope,
anyway,
not even a little bit.
Wow. Okay.
I do, but like initially, that does not look like Gilda Radner. That's the problem.
Yeah. On the cover, she's in her Emily Latella outfit.
Right.
But
right.
she looks like Newman from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
That's Newman in a wig.
Yeah, you're right. That's brutal. Okay, so here we go. This is a very odd cover. So Marvel Team Up featuring Spider-Man and the Not-Ready-For-Primetime-Players, and then it lists them all. And in the top left corner, the corner box, we've got Spider-Man's face, and then we have Stan Lee's face, because he's the host of the episode. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Then we have the NBC logo.
Oh, one quick thing about that NBC logo. I guess Bob Hall said NBC was real strict about they had to present the logo correctly.
Really?
And it had to be in the box like that. And people weren't understanding why they were such sticklers for it. But Bob Hall is from Nebraska. And I guess the TV station in Nebraska had like the exact same logo. And they had it first. So they had sued NBC. And NBC had to give them like $1 million or something. So that's why they were like real strict about how the logo is presented, because they didn't want to have any more troubles.
Really? Interesting. Okay. So anyway, so this cover, okay, we got Spider-Man above. So it's okay. There's a guy in the foreground holding a samurai sword, and we know that it's the Silver Samurai's hand. He's facing off against John Belushi, who's dressed as the samurai character. He's holding a samurai sword, and he's shouting in, I guess, Japanese.
Yes, he's Japanese.
And then behind him is the rest of the cast. Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Gilda Radner, what's his name? Garret Morris, Jane Curtin, and Laraine Newman. And that's it. And they're in this TV studio. You can see like the cameras and lights behind them and the microphone.
And at the bottom it says live from New York. It's Saturday night.
Right. I think it's a pretty good cover.
Brandon, what do you think of this cover?
The cover's not bad. It's just that ultimately it's really stupid. The comic. It's a terrible. It's a terrible comic book. Like, it's so dumb. And like, but I know we're not there yet, but I just want to say, MJ's kind of a whore. I mean, she is ready to run off with this other guy. What the fuck are you doing?
We'll get into that other guy when we get there, because
I
got some questions about this as well.
Okay, well, that was upsetting. But ultimately...
But I think we can both agree, MJ is smoking hot.
Always. Yeah. She's always smoking hot, of course.
Yeah. So she can do whatever she wants.
Well, poor Peter.
But... I like this cover art. It reminds me of like Mad Magazine. I don't remember the guy's name, but one of the famous artists from Mad Magazine. I think it's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, the cover's good.
But it's a
dumb comic book.
We'll get to that. We break things into categories. But anyway.
But again, if I just showed you like the picture of these people on this cover, you're like, oh, who are those random?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Saturday Night Live cast members. No, I would never guess that. But all right.
That's true. So we're gonna jump into this comic now. See, this art is great on this opening page.
Yeah, I don't know why Brandon hates the art so much.
This
obviously
is fine.
They don't look like the people. But
I said that's what I don't like. I don't hate the art. I don't like that it doesn't look like the people from SNL. That's what I don't like.
Because his drawings of Peter and Mary Jane, that's John Romita Sr.
Absolutely. And everything, we got this actually really nice opening. It's not a splash page, but it's a nice big panel of Peter and Mary Jane walking down the street, and there's a cab.
Oh, they're getting out of the cab.
Oh, they're just getting out of the cab, and the cab driver's like, hey, kid, you forgot your wallet. But I like how the fact that it's raining, and we see this kind of ghostly image of the Silver Samurai in the background. I love that stuff. And then, again, we're not going to go panel by panel here, but the next panel is a tilted panel, so the horizon's tilted. That's a great shot, walking away from us. And then the third panel, they get into line for Saturday Night Live. It's great.
They're running late. So Peter had tickets. He'd been saving up money to get tickets all year, I guess. And but they're running late because Peter's a fuck up. And so they shut the doors already. So now they have to go sit up on the balcony.
So we see them kind of stumbling through the stairway, and then as they're walking through, this guy kind of pushes them aside. He's like, "Stand aside, fool! I'm in a hurry." And then Peter Parker's spider sense goes off, and he's like, "Huh." He's like, "Spider sense went crazy. His voice is familiar too. I just can't place it." And then in the very next panel, we get our first shot of an SNL cast member. It's Gilda Radner. And then
I guess it's Gilda Radner.
Yeah. And then Mary Jane, and since Mary Jane is of course a world famous model, she knows her. She's like, "That's Gilda Radner. Hi, Gilda." I mean, maybe does she say she knows her? No, she doesn't acknowledge her.
No, she just knows her as Gilda Radner.
Okay.
Right.
So then we cut over to the rest of the cast inside the dressing room, and John Belushi has just got a gift inside this box, and he's put it on, and it's a ring. And the problem is though, once he puts it on, he can't get it off. So he's talking about, hey, this is fan mail. It came from somewhere in Japan, but now I can't get it off. I've tried soap and water, cold cream, nothing works. I can't get it off. So he's like, well, I guess I'll have to do the episode with it on. And he's even got four of the cast members trying to pull it off, but he still can't get it off. And then Lorne Michaels comes in. He's got dark hair at this time. Now he's got gray hair. Obviously.
This guy looks nothing like Lorne Michaels.
Yeah, true.
No, not at all.
Right. And I love this narration. Lorne Michaels leads his troupe of hardy thespians out to their waiting audience.
Oh.
So then we past a powerfully built usher we've met before. The man waits until the quarter is empty, and then this guy that we saw before goes into this room, and there's these other toughs in this room, hiding in a chest and stuff like that. And then the guy gets dressed, and it turns out, it's the Silver Samurai.
Hey Brandon, do you have any knowledge of the Silver Samurai?
Yeah, I do. I saw him, and I was like, oh, cool, Silver Samurai. That guy's awesome. Because he was also in X-Men and stuff, right?
Yeah, he's had some iconic issues with Wolverine.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. But the rest of the comic book, not cool.
I think those are issues 172, 173. Hey, and Michael, do you know where Silver Samurai made his first appearance?
Oh, I want to guess Daredevil.
That is right. Daredevil issue 111.
Wow, how did you know that? So what did he have to do with Daredevil? Why would he have been there?
Well, Daredevil's doing ninja shit, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Also, he was created by Steve Gerber and Bob Brown.
Oh, cool.
Gerber creation. So.
Bob Brown, he's a good artist. Anyway.
Yeah, so Silver Samurai's in the back. He's getting dressed up, and he's got all his thugs with him. And he says that one of these cast members has this ring I want. We have to find it. So I'm going to need all your help to find this ring. And that's what they're
Right. Yes. Then we cut over to our double splash page of the stage, like, live from New York. It's Saturday night, starring Stan the Man Lee. So Stan Lee is the host of the episode, and we see like the studio audience kind of watching, and then Peter Parker and Mary Jane are sitting down, and they sit next to this guy who starts macking on Mary Jane, right?
Well, yeah, here's the thing. This fella here, we don't get his name here. We get his name a little bit later. Well, actually, Mary Jane's the one who's flirting with him right away.
That's true.
Yeah. She says because Pete's trying to, like, talk to her. And she's like, I hear you, Petey. I was just admiring the scenery.
Right.
She's talking to this guy. So later on, they say this guy's name is Ken Morrow. Now, Brandon, are you familiar with Ken Morrow and the history of the planet? Do you know?
I don't know. Brandon is actually not present right now. He is on a break. I don't know if you. I guess you didn't get his notification, but he's on a break right now. He'll be back in a minute.
What happened to Brandon?
He's on a bathroom break.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Hey, there he is. Yeah, Brandon.
There he is.
I'm talking. I throw it to you. You're not even there. And Mike, I was like, "Oh, Brandon took a break." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Well, I left it in the chat. I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I know. He knew, but I'm not looking at my computer. So
yeah. Sorry. I was like, "Yeah, I got to run for a second."
All right. So we're getting to the Mary Jane talking to that guy. All right. So, Michael, you ready to resume here?
Yeah. So so they sit down. They're talking to this guy, and then you were going to mention who this guy is, right?
Yeah, Mary Jane's just flirting with this guy, right in front of Peter, which is a creepy move, obviously. That's not something you should be doing. Right. But now, Brandon, later on, we find out this guy says his name is Ken Morrow. Now, have you ever heard of him? Do you know who that is?
So that's the thing. He said his name, and I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, it sort of sounded familiar, but I was like, nah, maybe it's Arandis. And who is it?
Here's the thing that's weird, is the only Ken Morrow I know, and I think the Ken Morrow they're probably referencing here, is a rugged defenseman with the New York Islanders. He won 4 Stanley Cups from 1980.
No!
He was also a U.S. Olympian. He was on the Miracle on Ice team that won the gold medal in 1980. But
God.
But that was in 1980. So here, this book came out in 1978.
Oh.
He was a junior at Bowling Green University. Would he be famous enough to be in this comic book named Ken Morrow?
Well,
I'm very confused by this.
Does the writer have any connection to him? Like, is there?
I don't know.
Okay, just for the record, I'm looking up on MarvelFandom.com, and apparently it says here Ken Morrow, first and only known appearance, topical reference.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm guessing they mean Ken Morrow, the hockey player. But maybe it was a different era. Back then, he was an Olympian. The Olympics was in 80, but he was part of the Olympic team. So maybe back then they talked about it more than they do these days. So I don't know. Maybe he was kind of a celebrity in New York already, but it seems weird that a junior at Bowling Green University would be in a comic book. But all right, whatever.
Now, what's interesting is if you have an original copy of this, hold on to it because they are not allowed to reprint this because they don't have the rights to the characters anymore.
Yeah.
What?
So, yeah.
I think I saw a copy of this going for like $260 or something.
I used to have it, and I might still have it, but if I did sell it, I probably sold it for like $1. Haha. Sucker. Yeah.
All right. So Pete and Mary Jane are getting into their seats in the balcony, maybe next to Ken Morrow, the hockey player. I don't know. And then right behind them, there were 2 old guys with their backs to the camera. And the one says, "Hey, will you 2 kindly sit down? Statler and I came here to see the show."
Yes.
And his buddy says, "That's telling him, Waldorf, you old coot."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's supposed to be the Muppet reference there. But
sure was. Yep.
He had no idea who they were or what they looked like. He just drew 2 old guys with their back. That's why he drew them with their backs to the camera.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Ridiculous. Okay.
That was pretty good. Yeah, I noticed that too, and I was like, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. And now Michael Stan Lee is back doing his monologue on stage.
Right. Yeah. So he's See, again, this is good art. But anyway, so he's doing it. So we gotta repeat one of his gags here. For those of you who have been living in Siberia the past few years, I'm the guy who runs Marvel Comics. Now, a lot of people think that's really neat. No, where's his gag? He has an actual gag in here somewhere.
Well, he's talking about the Thing.
Oh yeah, but have you ever tried getting through a story comics with the Thing? Yeah, anyway, I guess that's the joke. But anyway.
No. He says, I asked him the other day, you're looking kind of rocky or something, right?
Oh, yeah, where is that? Yeah. Oh, there it is, yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling a little rocky. Okay, anyway.
Wah. So bad. And here's the weird thing about this. So, okay, so here's where I really struggled. Like, help me with it. So, Spider-Man in the Thing and Miss Marvel, they all exist in this world. Yes. But then Stan Lee is saying, like, I'm the head writer at Marvel.
Yeah. Marvel Comics documents their adventures. It's kind of like
yes.
Okay. Because I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Remember Dr. Watson would write Sherlock Holmes Adventures for Strand Magazine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Stan Lee in the Marvel Universe is a character writing comic books about these characters?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Gotcha.
But the other question that raises then is how come Stan Lee isn't giving some of those profits back to Peter Parker so he doesn't have to work as a freelance photographer?
Because he's an asshole. Yeah, he's an asshole. That's why.
He wouldn't be having to worry about his Aunt May paying for operations and shit. If
Stan Lee exactly right. That's exactly right. God damn you, Stan Lee.
Kind of a jackass.
I kind of.
Yeah. So, but anyway, Peter he has his spider senses tingling, so he excuses himself for Mary Jane, and she's just gonna fuck Ken Morrow, right?
Mm.
Once again, we've said this on other shows. I'm tired of the spider sense. It just doesn't make it.
No, I agree.
We were just talking about this. We were just talking about this on the Spider Cast the other day with Mike L.
I'm so sick of it. It's just so inconsistent. It makes
I love the spider sense. It's tingling.
It doesn't make any fun, but it's like now I have to listen to it. Now I don't. Maybe it means this. No, it doesn't mean that. Like, what? Come on, fucking like pick a lane. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it.
Sick of it.
So anyway, Peter Parker, because Peter Parker actually sees someone on the crew.
One of the NBC pages gets taken out by one of the thugs.
Right. Yeah. So then he decides we see him like sticking to the wall, kind of like crawling away, but in his Peter identity, but we see his Spider-Man boots coming through. It's kind of cool. And hold on a sec here. And then, oh my gosh.
But Brandon, then Spider-Man climbs down the wall and he's peeking in like the control booth, and there's a bunch of goons with guns to Lorne Michaels' head. He doesn't look like Lorne Michaels, but look at Spider-Man in the back. They're peeking in the window. His spider sense is tingling.
Right.
Everybody's like, nah, I guess I should just move on. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's tingling, bitch. Go get in there. Go do something. Disgusting.
So then he's like, so Spider-Man's like, huh? He's like, looks normal enough from here. Yeah, so he can't see what's going on because it just looks all normal to him. So then he goes back out to backstage, and then we cut over to, is that Bill Murray and John Belushi? Yeah, John Belushi's still trying to get his ring off, but he can't get it off. And so then Bill, it's hard to tell who's who. This is Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
He like is kind of like hiding behind like a little corner of a hallway, and he sees the Silver Samurai ordering his goons to go look for the ring, right? So then we see them like, so then he gets the idea. One of the goons is getting a drink from the water fountain, and he knocks him out with like a fake, it looks like Thor's hammer, but it's fake.
Yeah,
he hits
Thor's hammer, because they're going to do a
right, yeah. So it's Mjolnir.
Yeah, so he has a rubber hammer. Yeah.
So yeah, he hits him over the head, knocks him out, and then he puts on his trench coat. And then, of course, they got out the classic, where you been, Corelli? This ain't no time for goofing off. Let's get to work. But they don't notice it's a different guy.
Yeah, Bill Murray wants to go undercover to find out what's going on.
Right. So he's undercover now with the goons. So then we cut over to the Weekend Update with Jane Curtin and...
That's Gilda Radner.
Gilda Radner,
yeah,
right.
Right.
So then, in the middle of the newscast, Gilda Radner and Jane Curtin, they get like their seats drop out from under them, and they go into like a pit beneath the news desk. It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh well, yeah. Silver Samurai cut holes in the ground so
Yeah.
it fell through because they're trying to search every cast member to see if they got their
Right.
And just so people don't know Emily Latella Brandon, she was like that old lady on she'd go into these big.
I remember it. Yes.
And then she would always have it wrong, and then at the end she would just say, "Oh, never mind."
Never mind.
That was her gimmick.
Right.
We just got a notification from Cousin Brandon. This issue is shit. You have to text that to us.
It is.
So anyway, Spider-Man swings in and starts kicking ass, right?
Yeah.
Kicking goons' asses. But then just at that moment, Silver Samurai's there. And Silver Samurai, what is he? He doesn't cut him, but he hits the pipe above him. And I
think he hits Spider-Man.
Spider-Man? Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but
because there's that flash of white there in the middle beneath the shock where the contact was. So I'm getting maybe he hits him with the broadside of the sword.
Right.
Do you guys think that like Spider-Man should have been like? This is a weird. I don't know how to articulate this. Like he should have been more injured over the years than he was.
Well, maybe.
Does that make sense?
He gets beat up pretty good.
He does, but I'm saying but he's always okay in the end. And I'm like, he should have been really fucked up. I don't know.
Like, is there some aspect of his powers, Michael, where he has like a minor healing factor?
No, not at all.
Yeah, you think he'd like throw out a shoulder or something swinging around?
Right, like somebody's like, I can't, like something. Like he's faced a lot of people taking a lot of damage, and so he's like, oh.
And he's just wearing like his long underwear. You know, he's not even wearing.
Right. Like, I'll beat him. That's fine.
Anyway.
So they're fighting, and there's this hot steam coming out. No problem. No, it's a good observation. So the hot steam comes out of the pipe, and then the cast starts fighting back against the goons. And then
they think they're fighting back against the goons, but actually it's Bill Murray.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's right.
You would have no idea just by looking at his face.
Exactly. So confusing. Yes.
Right. Like Murray.
So then Spider-Man, it's explained to him that it's all about this ring that's on John Belushi's finger. Hold on a sec here.
Who knows where that's been?
Yeah. So then we cut over to Jane Curtin and Gilda Radner get raised back up to the news desk by Spider-Man's web, right? And then we cut over to Laraine Newman, who is getting ready for the skit, and she disguises herself as Ms. Marvel. Her second costume, the black one with the yellow lightning bolt, right?
Yeah, there's no way Laraine Newman's filling out that costume like that.
Well, she's got qualities of her own, but whatever.
Wait, so she was anorexic, from what I recall.
Oh, was she? Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So then the goons come in, and they see her dressed up as Ms. Marvel, and they don't think it's Laraine Newman. They think it's the real Ms. Marvel. Like, geez, Harry, this ain't no actress. That's Ms. Marvel. I don't care how scary that samurai dude talks. He don't pay enough for me to go up against an Avenger. Let's get out of here. So they leave her alone.
Let's get out of here. Well, she throws a bottle at him then.
Right, yeah.
But then Spider-Man, on their way out, he jumps in and kicks him in it. But
right. And punches another one. And then, this is a decent shot of Dan Aykroyd, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's the one that looks the most like himself.
Right. Cousin Brandon, what do you think?
I think that, for the most part, I thought, like I said, the Aykroyd shots look decent.
Right.
So yes. I was like, okay, they sort of got him.
Right.
Again. But again, don't you goddamn bring up Garret Morris. Oh my God.
So then
look at the coloring here in these next couple panels. This is Marie Severin doing the coloring. So
it's solid. It's solid. Yes. So then, so Spider-Man has a plan. He's like, these clucks sound like they're scared stiff of running into New York-based superheroes. Let's turn that fear to our advantage. So then, this is weird. So then,
Brandon's favorite picture of Garret Morris is coming.
Yeah. Of all people, Garret Morris decides to disguise himself as Thor. And he runs into one of the goons, and the goon says, "Hey, something screwy here. Ain't Thor supposed to be Swedish? This dude's black."
It's like, holy shit. Like, seriously, I was like, whoa. Like, yeah. I did a whoa right there.
Yeah, this was a weird choice.
Yeah.
But he keeps the Shakespearean English up, so that's cool.
Yeah. He's trying to sell it.
So then the rest of the crew or the cast is helping him. They put some wires together to create some Kirby crackle behind him.
Well, actually, they electrify the entire metal catwalk.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And they basically electrocute and murder those two goons.
Yeah, they're dead.
but Garret Morris is wearing big rubber boots, so he was insulated.
And I think he says, like, I kind of felt it. Something along those lines.
And so then Dan Aykroyd's dressed up as I don't know who he's dressed up as.
A Russian Cossack.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then what's his name? John Belushi dresses up as the samurai, and then he goes out and then he runs into the actual Silver Samurai, who takes a swing at him. And then meanwhile we cut back to the control room, and they've still got what's his name? Lorne Michaels held up at gunpoint. And then we cut over to Stan Lee, and he's still doing the show. And then Silver Samurai is like chasing after the cast, and then in their costumes they're fighting against the goons, like shooting them with what's it called, fire retardant. And then
we cut back to Mary Jane, and she's getting on with Ken Morrow here.
Right.
By the way, my name's Ken Morrow. Are you doing anything after? Mary Jane Watson, what have you got in mind?
Yeah.
This Mary Jane's a tomcat. What is she doing? Calm down, Mary Jane. There's Peter Parker.
So then,
I guess she wouldn't be a tomcat. She's a lady. Well,
yeah.
Thanks.
She'd be something. But again, I don't know if they were officially dating at this time. Were they? Maybe they were. They were kind of on and off, right?
Who, Peter and MJ?
Yeah.
I think they're. I mean, the context of the comic book they're dating.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's talk about something else real quick.
Okay.
So Belushi absolutely would have been murdered by the Silver Samurai and not heroin. Yes. So, what are we doing?
They're having a sword fight. The Silver Samurai has this energy-driven katana that he uses.
Thank you. I'm like, what?
And he can't cut through a prop sword of John Belushi.
Right. But Belushi is like what? Unless that prop sword was filled with heroin, which ultimately did in Belushi, no fucking way. What are we doing here?
Yeah, like Belushi says, he just cut a hole through a brick wall. Yeah, well then, but you can still.
Right. Mm-hmm. Thank you. What are you doing? Why are you alive?
I also didn't like this from the Silver Samurai because Spider-Man shows up, and the Silver Samurai then throws his sword to cut Spider-Man's webbing. That's not what samurai wouldn't be throwing his sword like that.
Right.
No. You're giving up your weapon.
I agree.
And I thought that his webbing was uncuttable, you know?
But I think that's the power of his sword.
Okay.
That's a whole other story. Because some people can cut his webbing, some people can't cut his. What is the deal? Come on.
Well, I have no idea. I have no problem with Silver Samurai's sword being able to cut his webbing, but then it should also be able to cut a prop sword.
You would think Belushi murdered.
But then, Mike, when Spider-Man falls from having his webbing cut, he's apparently completely uncoordinated.
Yeah, I know. He's not exactly cat-like here. He kind of lands on his back.
and it's tangled up with a bunch of people in the audience and stuff.
Uh-huh. So then John Belushi keeps fighting Silver Samurai, and then Spidey swings back into action and kicks Silver Samurai in the face. Pop.
Yeah, but when he does that, Silver Samurai was wrestling the ring off Belushi's fingers, so that pops the ring out, and Silver Samurai has the ring now. And Brandon, what's the secret of this magic ring?
The secret of the ring?
Well,
you're not talking about the JB Lushi. What?
No. But just it helps him teleport. He can teleport.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Right. Right.
So yeah, he's like, I got the ring, and it's a teleportation matrix. And now I can teleport anywhere I want in the world, and he just teleports away, and that's how it ends. He
bye, 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 bye. He did it, cousin Brandon. He just left. Bye, 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 bye.
That's right. He just teleports away.
Yeah.
So that's how it ends. But everyone thinks the show's a big success. The audience thinks that was all part of the show, you know.
None the wiser. None the wiser.
Right. So then we see this final shot of them all standing together, and then we cut over to after the show. They're hanging out in a bar.
Now, here we see Peter and Mary Jane are in the background talking, and Pete says, and you say the guy sitting beside you suggested what?
Yeah.
And she says, let's drop it. Okay, Brandon, what do you think he suggested?
Anal.
That's what I thought. that was my first thought as well.
Yeah.
And Peter's like, he's shocked. But then, Mike, we see John in the foreground. We see John Belushi and Garret Morris talking in the bar.
Yeah, they talk about how the reason that he got the ring is, okay, this is ridiculous, because it was actually addressed to someone named J.B. Lu-Shi, like Lu-SHI, who has offices at 30 Rock, just like NBC. But the address label got rained on, the ink smeared, and some postal clerk figured it was meant for me. And then he says, I keep looking for this ball of web. Look at this ball of web glop and thinking about Spider-Man, and I keep asking myself the same question. And then Garret Morris, in his thoughts, here it comes, and he says, "What are we gonna do for the spinoff?"
Yeah, I didn't even understand that.
Well, webs being spun, you know.
Yeah, well, it's just lame.
No, like I got that, but so that was the whole joke?
Yeah, that's it.
That was
that's
the joke.
all to get. It's all there is to
get. That's bullshit. Oh, this is SNL. They couldn't do better.
Well, it's Chris Claremont.
Yeah. Chris Claremont, not known for his humor, in my opinion, but yeah.
So Brandon, now that we've read this, let's get your thoughts on the whole book there, Brandon.
It's a goddamn piece of shit. And I'm so upset that I picked it. But I'm not upset that I picked it because I think it's funny
it's fun.
About like a shitty comic book.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you're Chris Claremont and you're given this job to do a crossover with Spider-Man and the cast of Saturday Night Live, I mean, what can you do? This isn't bad, you know. So for Samurai showing up,
okay, but like, I thought like it was ridiculous to think that like the cast would be like, cool, let's jump into action. There's no fucking way a cast.
Like, but it's a comic book. You want them to be heroic.
Like, okay, get the fuck out of here.
You want them to be heroic, you know?
No,
it's a comic book.
No.
I was a little let down that, you know, Silver Samurai just gets the ring and teleports away. I was like, well, that's kind of a letdown.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought it was kind of a bitch move, to be fair. Because I'm like, well, if you are like, I mean, you could kill everyone. Like, you're going to leave? You're just going to be like, I'm out. Why? Why out? Like, why be out? Kill us.
He just wanted the ring and he got what he wanted. Now he's leaving.
Yeah, that was a little abrupt the way he just disappeared at the end.
I hated that.
But here's the thing. I got to say, like, especially compared to the Avengers issue with David Letterman, I thought this was much better.
I never read that Avengers with Letterman one.
Yeah, it's pretty weak. But I mean, this could have been better, obviously. But for what it is, I actually did really enjoy it. I enjoyed the writing. I always enjoy 70s and 80s Chris Claremont. And I like the art. I thought the art was really good, actually.
Yeah, I thought the art was very solid as well. If you can look past the cast members not looking anything like.
Right.
That was right. That's the whole thing. I thought the artwork was really good. I just didn't like looking at, is that supposed to be Jane Curtin? That's supposed to be Morris? I was like, nah. But like I said, I thought like Aykroyd looked pretty good. I thought some of them looked good. Mm-hmm. But that's the weird thing. Like, why do you think that is? Like, why do you think they can draw some of them and not all of them?
Well, like you said, he didn't do a lot of reference work, so I think he just got a good picture of Dan Aykroyd probably and was able.
Right, just drew it over and over again.
Yeah, he didn't do enough research on the other cast members.
Okay,
that'll be my guess.
Fair enough. Okay,
he was worried about that Passionate Dracula off-Broadway play he was doing. He really wasn't even.
Because I'm just saying, like, I would have been like, I think I would have bought in more, like, if that was the case. where I'm like, oh, okay, like it looks great.
But
like,
the other way of doing this, Mike, I remember we did that Star Trek issue with Miles Watson.
Yes.
And in that issue, Brandon, every Star Trek person looked very much like the actor, but too much like the actor. Like the faces would be almost like
it was too stiff. Yeah.
And then like the rest of the book would be like a comic book. So it was weird. So I think you need to strike like a nice balance there, like a caricature kind of comic book. But yeah,
for sure.
In between the two would be the best way to.
That makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know what else here. I really did like the coloring. Brandon, you don't know who Marie Severin is, right, Brandon? You have no concept of her.
Drunk.
Yeah, but she's a very famous. But we like her on here. Her coloring on here, especially, is always appreciated.
No, I have no idea.
But the thing is, this is, to me, we always talk about 70s, 80s comics. This is a classic 70s comic to me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, they could not make this today. Like, this is just awesome. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's goofy, but it's like those bad movies we watch on LCS, Brandon. It's so goofy, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
No, I hated it. I found it because, like I said, I thought it was so outrageously improbable that I hated it, and I was like, "This is so stupid." But this, to be fair, that's the era of Saturday Night Live that I liked. Versus now, where I'm like, "Fuck this show! This show's so dumb. It's just ugh."
I've actually been going back watching some Saturday Night Live like YouTube clips and shit over the last few years from episodes from the past few years. There's some good stuff in there. Like if you just watch the good stuff.
Mm-hmm. From when? From how long ago?
Like Cecily Strong's real good.
You're talking about now? Yeah, of course. There's a lot of shit, but there's a lot of good stuff. Yeah, Cecily Strong's great.
I see. In my mind, it sort of ends like by the time you get to like Bill Hader-ish. By then, like I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah. I don't watch it like when it's live or anything, but I'll go back and watch the clips and that.
I hear you, but it's like I guess I get sick of seeing these articles too, where it's like this person's leaving, they're joining, they're like, oh, I'm like.
Dude. That's the thing. Like back here, 7 cast members, right? Is that what it was? 7.
Yes,
7?
And that's
nowadays they have like 40 cast members.
It's way too big. Way too big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, I think all the women on the show actually are very funny. Melissa Villaseñor is very funny.
She's one of my least favorites, to be honest.
Awesome.
She just left too.
Oh, I didn't know she left.
Yeah.
I love her. She's very funny.
No, I like Chloe Fineman.
Yeah, she's great.
I don't know.
She's super foxy. That's what I'm like.
Yes, she's very hot. And then Kate McKinnon's. I think she's the star personally.
Yeah, the Kate McKinnon bits where they always get interviewed about being abducted by aliens.
Oh, those are hilarious. Yeah. Yes.
She left, I think, too.
Yeah.
They're the best. But all the dudes on the show kind of suck. There isn't really one.
Yeah, they're not great. I mean, I do. You know what though? I forgot Colin Jost. I think he's a great host, co-host for the news.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
You don't like him?
Well, he's married to Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, you're jealous. But don't you admire Scarlett Johansson for marrying a guy like that? Like, I think that gives her extra points.
Oh well, it isn't Colin Jost like go to Harvard and everything.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he's not some bro. You know what I mean? He's just like a regular funny guy, you know?
Yeah, he's a regular funny guy who's on national TV and went to Harvard. And
yeah, okay, but you know what I mean?
Just one of those guys. But that's the guy working down at the deli. Just like that.
Exactly.
Okay. Fuck Colin.
He's great.
Like, Mike Dell, I gotta say, you've been fired up tonight. It's pretty good.
I don't know.
Like, there's a lot of fucks and a lot of, like, you seem angry tonight, and I like it.
I'm working blue. Yeah.
No, I like it. Right. You just seem angry.
Well, Brandon, any final thoughts on this book?
No, I hate it, and that was that.
Well, okay, I have a question for Cousin Brandon. Have you ever, in your last 5 years, let's say, read a 70s, 80s comic that you did enjoy? Or do they all disappoint you now when you go back and read it?
No, they don't all disappoint. No, I'm just saying, I think this was really stupid. Like, the idea of a Marvel team up.
Well, obviously it's stupid, but that's, it's awesome because it's stupid.
Right, but I'm saying, but like, I like dumb. I like good, bad. I like all that stuff. I'm saying this one, though, to me, I'm like, are you fucking kidding? like, there's no way the SNL Not-Ready-For-Primetime Players
get past it.
We're like fending off all these bad guys. Like, it's so fucking stupid. Like, no way.
But then what do you want them to do? Just sit in a corner? And you're like,
Yes, because that's what celebrities would have done. They'd have been like, oh, this is terrifying. That's what they would have done.
It's a comic book. It's a comic
right, but it's so dumb. Like, that's my point. The fact that they're like, oh, we're going to put on costumes, and that's it. We're going to figure out how to, like, beat them. Like, no, they wouldn't have done that. It's stupid.
It's not a documentary. It's a comic
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's stupid. It's so
what would you give it 1 out of 10, Brandon?
1.
Oh, come on.
It's terrible.
Well, I want to go higher then to make up for it. I'm giving it...
what, 2?
I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7 as well.
Oh, God. I'll give it a 1. So
wow.
Because it's a fun book. Bob Hall does some good work. Marie Severin does good work. And it's Chris Claremont.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, you know what? 2.
All right. I'm glad we can persuade you.
Yeah, you got...
Well, hey, next week on the big show, it's Shocktober.
Yeah.
What's that?
Mike L's favorite month. It's where we do all horror comic books in honor of Halloween.
Oh, I like it. Hey, are you guys, before I forget, unrelated, have you guys watched Paper Girls on Amazon?
I never heard of it.
I have not. I was not a big fan of the comic, but I do like Cliff Chang.
Oh, so I have 1 episode left to watch. It's really good.
Okay.
It's
I'm really enjoying it.
Deliver papers.
Yeah, well, it's a little more than that, but yeah, it's really good. It's not a Brian K. Vaughan, like it's
right.
It's really good.
Never heard of it. So,
check it out. Good shit.
Hey, next week on the big show, our buddy Miles Watson will be here for Shocktober, and we are doing Unknown Soldier, issue 261 from 1982.
That's right. It's going to be a good time. So there you go. Be sure to join us next week. Be sure to join us every week.
Well, you got to thank Cousin Brandon.
Oh, I was just about to. We want to thank Cousin Brandon for joining us for his 6th appearance. Thank you, Cousin Brandon.
You're welcome, I guess. I don't know.
We'll have you on again very soon for your 7th appearance.
Please.
Yeah, so every week we read a different Bronze Age comic. 1 week I pick, 1 week Mike Dell picks, sometimes Cousin Brandon picks.
I think it's probably better that I don't pick.
All episodes are available at www.comicbooksyndicate.com. So
that man wasn't in this, so it was
next
great.
Tuesday, disperse!